These journalistic institutions have done far more to support the genocide than these capitalist organisations have.
There's always a caveat.
Of course.
There's always a caveat.
Yeah.
Like when the reporting by Palestinian journalists is presented, there's always this little, follow-up where it's like, we couldn't independently verify this information.
Yeah, which doesn't happen, by the way, if it's the IDF being quoted
right.
or Netanyahu or Trump. I mean, actually, they do that with Trump. It's so much of it is the way that the information is structured. So, okay, there are many forces that have long been at play in the way that journalism is conducted that before October 7th were deeply problematic, right? So again, there is this tendency to, if an official says something, to start the first paragraph with that quote, saying who said it, when they said it, and then you get in further down to the questioning of that statement, right? In fact, one way that I would say to viewers, if they want to change some of their media habits, aside from not reading some of these sources altogether, and I would argue that actually boycotting some of these sources of information makes far more sense than boycotting Starbucks or McDonald's.
Really?
Because
that's an interesting take.
These journalistic institutions have done far more to support the genocide than these capitalist organisations have, in my opinion. So I would argue one of the things that viewers can do is to actually stop consuming information from those sources. But if you really, really insist on doing it, one thing that you can do is read the article in reverse. So if, for example, you're reading a 1,000-word piece on, let's say, the way that humanitarian aid is distributed in Gaza, read the last paragraph first and work backwards from there. Because very often the voices that are questioning those with control and power and authority are relegated to the very end of the article. And that is deeply problematic because as journalists, we have access to so much analytic information about the way that our work is consumed, right? I'm sure you have the same here in The Guardian. At The Guardian, we can go into the back end of a piece and see how many people are reading it in real time, how long they're staying on the piece, even where they're clicking on the article. So we know as journalists that many people don't read beyond those first couple of paragraphs. So in many cases, these articles that are simply parroting exactly what the state has said before questioning it, a reader will go away with simply knowing exactly what the state has said. That's it. And nothing beyond that. And I would argue that actually what we're seeing is that many journalistic institutions that pride themselves on holding power to account, which is part of the reason why I got into journalism, have simply become extensions of state media.